It's a crafting table. Here's how it works. You place these elements in different patterns and kabam! You got yourself a sweet blade.
You want to see a blade? I'll show you a blade.
Yeah!
Hammer.
That's okay, bud. Buckets are useful here.
Yeah, they're cool, Garrett. They're like nunchucks.
Yeah, I know. That's why I made them. They're buck chuckets.
They're what?
Tune up, level up your fun. Tune up, your quest has now begun. Tune up, we'll show you how it's done. Tune up, tune up, tune up, tune up.
I'm going to say it. I missed the 8-bit stuff, man. That hasn't been out for a while. Do you remember when the last time you used that was?
Yeah, God, it's kind of an old one. Yeah, it goes back a ways.
my
No, I
goodness.
don't remember when we used it, but
I don't either. Okay, and I'm a little lost in that movie reference. Like, what was our intro from?
that's Minecraft.
Oh, did
It's
not
funny
see that.
'cause-
Did you see that over the
'cause
summer?
Jack Black and Jason Momoa, they sound the same. They're kind of like imitating each other's voices or something. I don't know.
I love those guys. Hey, you guys, welcome back to Tabletop Tune-Up. We are here for another episode. This is going to be a little different. You know what? We're gonna start trying some new things here at the Tabletop Tune-Up. One of the things we're going to do is we're going to switch over into some live building for you guys. We have not practiced this. We are going to actually put some of these principles that we've talked about over the last 56 episodes to use. And Mark, we're going to make something today. And what are we going to make?
We're going to make some sort of legendary item. And I think we should start real quick by just kind of talking about like what we're making this for and like why we're making this. These are kind of like questions all GMs should ask before they start crafting an item. And we're talking about homebrewing an item. I'm not talking about reskinning an item,
Okay.
which you could do as well.
Just be clear, like when you say reskinning, what does that mean for people?
That would just be like taking like a flame blade and naming it something different,
Okay.
which is
All right.
cool. Don't get me wrong. Like if you're a first time
Totally
player,
acceptable.
you're not going to know the difference, and it's
Yeah.
just as awesome. So there are
But we're starting from scratch today, though. That's the
we
idea.
are, but there's going to be questions you're going to want to ask yourself before you start crafting. And I've just jotted down a bunch of these questions, and I'm going to say there's a few because you really have to think about this stuff in a campaign setting.
Okay.
Assuming we're playing Dungeons and Dragons, okay?
Yeah.
This could be true for any game.
We're going to do a number of these kind of live build sessions. And I already think the one I want to do after this one is like, we're going to build a planet for a sci-fi game. So we're going to do all different kinds of things.
So first question is, hey, Ben, who are we making this for? Like, is it like specifically, you're going to want to know that person, right?
Yeah. Well, so this is a good question is, do you build these things for players that you have? Like, should we be talking about a character and maybe a game we're playing? Or is it the case that you're thinking like, hey, I'm going to build a campaign around this item, especially big, powerful, legendary items? You might say, I don't know who the protagonist is, but whoever they are, this is going to be a big, important thing, and they'll probably use it.
This just kind of comes down to like, who's the audience? You know what I mean? Like, in general, if I'm making an item, it's usually for a specific player, and it's to serve a campaign.
Okay.
So that's who I'd be making this for in my scenario. I'd say I'm making this for Joe Blow, and this
Right.
is for X campaign. Okay, so who are we making this for? What role does this item play? And now, this is kind of a tricky question. Are we using this item to advance the story? Are we just trying to do some lore? I give you an idea of like an item that might give lore might be the broken blade from Lord of the Rings.
Right.
It serves really essentially a lore purpose.
Yeah, until it's reforged, it's basically there to help you tell a story.
Correct. Another item thing about like what item does this play is does it fix an inequity? This could be maybe a character, maybe Johnny in your group made a horrible build for his character, and he just doesn't do the amount of damage that the rest of the party is doing. And you want to make him feel like he's up there with the others. That might be the inequity we're talking about.
All right. Now, does this go the other way? Like, are you thinking about like if you've got an especially like, arrogant player, maybe, are you going to give him a cursed item? Is that the idea?
Well, you could do that if you want, but we're mostly building. When I think about inequity, we're also kind of talking a little bit about party balance.
Okay.
If you've been playing for a while, you'll notice at the table maybe some players are just rolling out huge numbers every week, all week, and then one of the players is kind of lagging behind, not really feeling like they're included. This might be an opportunity to kind of fix that.
I remember in a game we played, you played a dwarf, and we had a very highly mobile party that was always running around really fast, and you were always kind of coming along behind. I think that would have been a good example of a time when you needed an item that would have helped you move around the map a little bit better.
Yes, I felt like I got to the battle too late every time.
Yeah.
And then, of course, in D&D, things are dropping so fast that like I get there, I'm all out of breath, and I'm swinging, and it's already down.
Yeah. Well, and by the way, for our listening audience, I don't think it's a good idea to try to manage player behavior with cursed items or with any other kind of in-game remedies.
Another thought about like what role this item might play is maybe it gives a player some more options. And I'll give you an example of like maybe a character that maybe doesn't feel like they have a lot of options, or they get trapped into a certain type of mode. Maybe it's a warlock. I mean, how many warlocks have you had at the table that all they do is just do Eldritch Blast every round?
If I'm being honest, it's a lot.
Yes. Maybe this gives them a little bit of options. Maybe it kind of can diversify their Eldritch Blast to do a few different things. So with that in mind, let's go to like the idea of like how long do we want this item to be around? Is it something we just want for a brief moment, or is this something that's going to be carrying through the whole game?
Well, so when you're talking about how long is it going to be around, you're thinking like there might be items that people use between, I don't know, like say 3rd level and 7th level or something like that, right? Where they're using it for a certain part of their character progression, but eventually they're going to need something more powerful than that. So you're kind of imagining a sunset option for this item.
Yeah, you could be sunsetting it, or maybe it's something you're going to replace, or maybe you're just going to have a situation where you break that item or whatever. That item, how long do you expect it to be around?
Conversely, you could reforge it too and make it more powerful and able to scale up.
And that's kind of something you might want to do with something that players really love, players really like. So the next question I usually ask myself when I'm thinking about like what kind of powers or items I want to give this weapon is this something that can be given through character creation as they advance, or maybe there's a feat or something of that nature? Does this ability already exist within that context?
Right. And actually, this reminds me of a time when you and I were co-GMing a game, and I gave a character an item that actually gave them something they got later as a class feature. And you sort of pointed that out to me, and I was like, uh-oh. And then we had to do a little backpedaling.
Yes. I mean, sometimes it seems really natural. You got a certain type of class, and you're thinking like, oh, this would be great for it. Well, guess what? A game developer already thought of that.
They already thought that, yeah.
They already thought of that.
That's funny.
But here's one of the things that's interesting. You really have to know the other classes as well. Because if you give a character an item that has an ability from another class that another player's playing, oh boy, that's going to feel like you just cheapened out that other player's ability, right? So you really have to be knowledgeable about what you're messing with. Next up, I would say, is this item level appropriate? If it's overpowered, hey, maybe just consider limited uses as a way to kind of temper that item. Lastly, in the questions you're going to be asking yourself when you're building this item, which is a very important question, is does this item invite role play, both from the player who's got the item and the other people at the table? Does it invite storytelling? Does it invite that? These are the kind of the important things you're going to want to be asking.
Wonderful. Okay, so I think we've got your questions out.
Let's get to crafting. One thing I want to talk about is when we talk about crafting, we're going to go with theme first. We're going to let the daydreaming begin, and then the mechanics are going to follow afterwards, because we want to build something that sparks our imagination, and we'll fit the mechanics into it. Don't worry, it'll work out. Also, We're going to try to keep this. We're going to use the KISS method.
Keep it simple.
Keep it simple, stupid.
So let's do this. Let's imagine you wanted to start by saying, who's this for? Let's imagine, because this will also help us get into theme.
Sure.
Let's imagine we've got a paladin. And this paladin is a kind of a third level paladin. Maybe, at the end of last session, they beat a large major bad guy, and we're going to find something in the horde that this bad guy left behind.
Let me ask a question. You can answer it, and we can make a little note here. Ben, is this paladin keeping up with the rest of the party as far as damage?
Let's imagine that he's been built as I'm going to kind of throw a curveball at you. Let's imagine that he's been built as a kind of a protection paladin. He's somebody who stands in the gap, but unfortunately, the way that the paladin got built, he maybe doesn't have as much hit points or defensive capabilities he needs. So he needs some kind of an item maybe that helps him stay up a little longer or protect somebody else or whatever. Something that helps him defensively.
Yeah, I like this. Okay, so maybe he's playing a protective role and he just doesn't quite have the armor. But what kind of item are we going to grant? Is this going to be a weapon? Is this going to be a shield? What are we dreaming here?
I think if it's a weapon, we're probably sending the wrong message. A defensive item, I don't usually expect to be a weapon because you want offensive weapons to be offensive in their nature. So we could do armor, but also I think, if he's a paladin, maybe it should be some kind of a religious artifact, or it should be kind of an icon that he wears around his neck, or it could be something else maybe that's easier for him to don and doff. Maybe it's got a little more of a religious character to it. What do you think?
I mean, I think of protection. I think of somebody with a shield, personally. But
okay.
I think maybe we should go with the shield.
All right.
What are your thoughts?
That sounds good. Let's do a shield. And maybe it's to kind of combine those two ideas, right? It's a shield that's got some kind of religious significance to it. Maybe there was a paladin that carried it once upon a time, right?
Okay, so you're already thinking about maybe some of the backstory and the lore of this item. I like that. That's important because it's going to help us. It's going to inform us a little bit.
I'm going to call this the Shield of Saint Artivan. It turns out Saint Artivan met his end somewhere, and eventually his armor, his shield, sort of found its way into this horde. I don't even know what kind of bad guy this is, but the point is, this is one of those things you'd recognize if you saw it because it was a part of an order that's long defunct, and so we've got this shield, and we can recognize it as his shield.
The role that we've kind of decided is that we're going to try to fix a little bit of an inequity. I'm not even saying that word right.
We're going to balance the party.
Yes, we're going to balance the party. This will give this character a little bit more of that role of a protector that he's been daydreaming, that he hasn't been able to fully fulfill. So with that in mind, we have a shield.
Mm-hmm.
We have a little starting of some backstory, which we'll return to, I think.
Okay.
Once we kind of flesh some of this out. We haven't got to is this level appropriate yet because we haven't really thought about what the power is. But we've already sensed that we're inviting role play with this because we now know what the role of this item is going to be, and we'll play that up a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
So beyond just giving like a bonus to the player's armor, we need it to be some sort of protector. Now, there are feats and abilities that give the ability to kind of intercept attacks, correct?
Yeah, I actually was going to say, I almost like it better when you don't add AC bonuses to, or at least not extra AC bonuses to armor and shields, because AC is not supposed to scale up linearly in 5th edition D&D. So I would say good options here, right? They could be things that maybe they could simulate other kinds of things that the characters could do, for example, like things other characters can do. I was thinking of like how Goliaths have like that Stone's Endurance power that lets them just deduct hit points from incoming attacks. You could have something like that. Maybe a couple times a day, or proficiency level times a day, or something. You could also do a thing where the character can get more mobile as a defensive bulwark, and maybe they can, once per short or long rest, teleport like Misty Step kind of. Or I could even imagine a third thing could be interesting. What if it's not at that stuff, but what if you want to resist crowd control? So while you're holding this shield, you can't be moved by shove attacks or other people's crowd control pushes and things like that.
How about giving you advantage or something like that? Advantage against.
Okay. So
Those
maybe not
types
an
of
absolute
checks.
effect, but having
Maybe not an
advantage on
absolute
that.
effect.
Yeah.
That way,
Okay.
by going with an absolute effect, maybe we can add some other ability to it on top of that.
Okay.
If you're going to make it an absolute, then it's going to be kind of the domineering power for it.
Okay. So we'll say wielder gains advantage on checks to resist involuntary movement.
How about, Ben, we think about as a secondary ability for this item,
Mm-hmm.
it has some sort of interaction with the person they are protecting. So not
Okay.
only are you giving an ability to that person, the person who's got the shield,
Mm-hmm.
but maybe there's some sort of tangible ability to the person he's actually protecting.
Oh, okay. So if I'm doing one of those things where I can use my shield to intercept an attack meant for you, you're
Yep.
suggesting the shield could interact with you in some way.
Yeah, but like maybe it gives that player you're protecting resistance from damage for that round.
Okay. Yeah, there's a lot of paladins who can be like, I'm going to protect myself, thanks.
No, but the idea that this person wants to be a protector. You want that ability to kind of be given to somebody else. And this also kind of brings about, does it invite role play?
Mm-hmm.
It's incorporating other players into the action economy and the scene, which I think can increase role play. And I'm not saying that's the ability we want to give it, but maybe something along that wavelength.
One thing you could do is you could grant somebody else the ability to do something with their reaction. Like maybe they could move behind the shield, or maybe they could.
That's not a bad idea. Is allow, even if you put your shield up to defend, allow as a reaction another player to move as a reaction 5 feet, which will allow them to maybe tuck in behind, or maybe take a step back away from a foe without provoking an attack of opportunity.
Okay, so we'll say allows another player, allows another character, allows another friendly character.
I would say the protected character that you are protecting.
Okay, is this person that you're protecting like what's their range to you?
I would say that if they'd have to be close to you. I mean, if you're going
I would think.
put your
Yeah.
shield up to defend them, they need to be within 5 feet. But I think
Okay.
what it would allow them to do is take it maybe as a reaction without provoking an attack of opportunity is to move 5 feet, which could be huge.
That's good. Okay, so allows another friendly character within 5 feet of you to use their reaction to move 5 feet in any direction without provoking opportunity attacks. I like it. Okay, so we've got kind of two abilities. One, wielder gains advantage on checks to resist involuntary movement. And two, allows another friendly character within 5 feet of you to use their reaction to move 5 feet in any direction without provoking opportunity attacks. All right, so Mark, there's also some resemblance, I think, between the feature we're thinking of that lets the protected character move, but also there's a protection feat in the current edition of the rules.
Which this player has. What does that protection feat do?
That protection feat basically means it's kind of like what we have here, right? If you have another character within 5 feet of you, you can use your reaction to interpose your shield. Now, this would be on their turn or someone else's turn. Mm-hmm. Your reaction would then be used to impose disadvantage on an attack roll against the person you mean to protect.
Okay, that's great. We have that. This player has that feat. This is like an enhancement to that feat. Now, the person you're protecting, per the feat, has as a reaction can move 5 feet to get out of the danger, which is kind of cool thematically.
Yeah, so you're thinking the feat plus the shield gives the protected character a lot of advantages in that sense.
Gives them a lot of advantages and really plays into that I'm a protector role, which they want to do. And it's kind of fun because now the other players are involved with that ability. And you kind of create a neat visual going on at the table.
I like it. I also like that it's similar in spirit to a feat that's out there, but it's also not just a kind of a repeat. It's not just, hey, we're going to put this feat into a shield.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's great. Okay, is this level appropriate for a third level paladin?
Well, that's a good question.
How do you judge that?
Yeah, I mean that might be a little too powerful that early, don't you think? When you combine it with the other ability, they do have the feat. I wonder if this is something you might want to give a little bit later, like maybe level 5.
Yeah, okay. Well, so here's something you could do, and this is the beauty of using your own magic items and stuff. We talked earlier before about like the kind of the level range, the duration of the weapon or of the item. What if we do this at this level, at level 3, they gain advantage on checks to resist involuntary movement, but that's it. And then let's say when they get to level 5, that's when they get the thing that lets the other friendly character use their reaction to move 5 feet.
You could do that, and that's a great option. You could also do like a limited uses. And one thing you could do is you could tie it in. Maybe the limited uses could be tied into like your proficiency bonus, which scales up to 6 by the time you get to 20.
Okay, let's say the character may use this ability a number of times equal to their proficiency bonus. I think we've got the item features. It feels like we've adjusted for levels, so it's not kind of too powerful. And that proficiency bonus will help it scale, so it'll give it a little longevity.
Why don't we go back to the Saint Artivan? What are your thoughts on how we want to incorporate this backstory, huh?
Yeah, okay, so this is one of those things that I think really depends on what the Paladin's backstory is, but this is a moment where I would be looking to try to tie in something thematic about this Saint Artivan who, like, seriously, you guys, we made this guy up like 2 seconds ago. I'd want to try to tie that into something about our Paladin character's ambitions or about his concerns. What if this Paladin character's backstory is that he's kind of got a reputation for being a little unsteady. Maybe he got frightened at a key point, or maybe he's concerned if he'll be brave enough. And maybe the shield of Saint Artivan is a shield that belonged to an especially courageous paladin. After all, he didn't move. Mm-hmm. He was, planted firmly, and he protected others in that state. So this could be something where, when you get this, the thing you could kind of do a little bit of a lore drop to your paladin and say, this belonged to an especially courageous paladin. Perhaps with it, you will feel more courageous too, or something like that. You could start trying to key it into their ambitions and their story arc.
That sounds good. I'll tell you what, let's write it up, and we're going to put this, we post this on YouTube and other places. We're going to put a description of this item that we've fully fleshed out in that for you guys to take a look at. And let us know if we did a good job. Let us know if it sucks.
I love it.
But this is kind of fun. And you could do this with all sorts of different items. Just kind of follow some of these little tips and tricks. And I think you're going to come up with some really unique items. And on that note, Ben, how about we go to our tune-up? I got a question for you. Now, this isn't a tune-up per se, but I got a question, okay. and I'll answer the question too. Do you have an item that you've really enjoyed in the game that you thought, oh, that was really memorable?
I tend to really love utility items. And so even though it's not necessarily a unique item, I had a blast figuring out cool things to do with an immovable rod.
Oh, yeah.
We had that in a game a long time ago and made a lot of good use of it. But eventually you found a moment to break it, which was okay in context. It sacrificed itself well to get us out of a tough spot. But that's a fun one.
That is a classic. And there's a reason, it's funny, you give it to some groups and they just go, oh, okay, what do I do with this? And I'm like,
whatever.
Really? Where is your imagination? Like this item is just, endless fun.
Yeah. There's a reason it shows up in every edition of the game.
Yeah.
How about you? What's one of your favorite or more especially memorable magic items?
God, there's a lot. I will say one that I enjoyed at the table a lot is one I actually gave to you, which was I think there was a dagger that it stole an ability from the monster that you
Yeah, it was a
stabbed.
rapier actually.
It was fun. It was just fun. And it
It was
was high
great.
level enough, and the tomfoolery and nonsense that happened.
I think you had some constraints on it too. I think we got it when when the character was like, I want to say like at least 8th level.
Oh, you were
And
higher than that, I'm pretty
was
sure.
it higher than that? Was
Anyway,
it 13?
yeah.
Anyway, the point is this sword, what it would do is when you stabbed somebody with it, whatever that creature's special abilities were, you would roll and like, if you had like 4 special abilities, then you might roll a D4. Or if you had 6 special abilities, a
Yeah.
D6, whatever. But then you'd then have the character, would get
Take
that
on
ability.
those abilities.
Yeah, for a little while. What was fun about it, though, what I think I should have actually brought this one up instead of the immovable rod, but they're both good. I'm glad you brought this up. The cool thing about this was that sometimes he would stab people that were especially evil or where the ability was a really kind of part of their nature, and you would, we would kind of role play that he'd take on a little bit of their characteristics, or he'd have especially bad memories, or there's a little bit of a cost to it, like if he stabbed a demon, he might be a little extra,
It
evil
was
for an
fun.
afternoon or something.
Yeah. And but you never, it's funny, like sometimes items you give out to lower levels. I think of this sword called Voltage that I gave to one of our players. And I mean, it was kind of a throwaway item. I'm not gonna lie. Like when I first made it, it was like, this is a cool looking thing. It might be around for a few levels. But I think she just loved that item that we ended up having to reforge it.
Yeah.
And just gave her like an opportunity to like, what do you see this item? What do you think this item's going to be now? And let her kind of decide that item's fate. But I had items like that too when I first started playing. Too. The same thing. I had items that I was so attached to when we first started playing.
One of the things that's really cool about this too is don't forget to let your players actually be a part of that crafting process if you can. Because once they, kind of put their own thoughts and ambitions and hopes into the item, whatever it is, it could be a weapon, it could be a shield, it could be something else entirely, whatever it is, once they've put a little authorship into it, they really want to own it. They want to keep it. It's special at that point.
Oh yeah. So guys, have fun crafting. I tell you what, this is some of the most fun you can have as a GM. And it's also the best way to break a game.
Yeah, be careful. And look, if you have to, remember, you can break the magic item. You can, we've talked about this in our past episode on items. You can always renegotiate a little bit. You may have to eat some crow a couple of times. That's okay.
It's fun.
Have a great time with it, you guys. This is a good, fun game. We'll go ahead and post the Shield of St. Artivan in the description for this podcast. And in a couple weeks, we'll be back with another build, probably a planet. We're going to go big.
Yeah.
And until then,
go big or go home.
That's right. Until then, friends, keep those dice rolling.